Good morning, guys. Just a heads up for everyone watching the live screen share. We're gonna go ahead and get started on the pre-market watch list in about 10 minutes. As you can see on my main screen, these are pretty much all my main watches at the moment. We have a few big gappers, SNOA and ADAP, PRTY, PHIO is going pretty crazy here in pre-market as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for the most part, but we'll give it, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll go into more detail on the pre-market watch list. So stay tuned for that. And also, if anyone is watching the public scanner, if you could just spread the word that we're also doing a live screen share, I would appreciate that. Good morning, guys. It looks like we're getting a few more viewers. Just waiting for a few more people to join. We're at like 100 right now. And then we'll go ahead and get started on that pre-market watch list in like 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll just take, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll go over the watch list that I made last night, and then we'll go over all the gappers from this morning. And then once the market opens, I'll just kind of give you guys some commentary on a few things. SNOA, at the moment looks pretty strong. Hopefully we can hold 14 and push up. But yeah, those are definitely my 2 or 3 main watches are SNOA, ADAP, and PHIO. Those are probably my top 3 this morning. PRTY, if anyone's watching that, you can see that we're testing this 165 area. Hoping this one can hold up for the market open, but it's looking pretty weak. If it breaks this 160, we might get a flush down to the 140 area. But yeah, the locates, I have multiple brokers right now, but I do also use Trade Zero. And yeah, the locates are pretty expensive. For SNOA, it's like 0.39, so pretty expensive there. I think that would be like 390 for 1,000 shares. So very expensive. ABIO is really expensive for some reason as well. It's like $500 for 1,000 shares, which is pretty ridiculous. PRTY is relatively easy to borrow. It's only like $20 for 1,000 shares with my broker. FIO is also not too expensive. It's like $40 for 1,000 shares. So a little bit more pricey, but not that bad. So, see what else we got this morning. I use Trade Zero, but Centerpoint is also a really good broker for the person that asked. And for everyone in the private chat room, I let you guys know we're doing a public screen share. So just so you guys know, I'm probably going to be more active just in the YouTube comments. Just for the first, hour or so of the day. But all right, guys, I'm gonna just send one more message out, and then we'll get started on the watch list here. So Christian, if you go to the public room, you'll see Arian's name on the top. It'll say server owner. He's online. You can actually message him really easily, and then we can get you all taken care of. But anyways, guys, let's go over and start the watch list here. I want to make this pretty quick so you guys can go ahead and focus on whatever you're watching. So I'm going to start off with my watch list from last night. So the very first stock that I had on my watch list last night was ABIO. So you can see we have major resistance here at $20, right? Towards 20. We do also have a gap to fill on this daily chart around $28. This could potentially have offering risk, a risk of an offering. So I would definitely be very cautious on the long side today on this stock. I would probably just be looking for the short on ABIO because they could, I think they are working on an offering. So I guess, we'll find out pretty soon. But as you can see, we're under $16. We're at 14. We gapped down this morning. It's looking pretty bearish. So, just speaking from a technical standpoint, for me to get interested in a long setup, I would at least need to see this build a base above $17. If it, trap shorts down here, popped over 17, started to build a base over 17, then, at that point, I would keep an open bias for a potential breakout, maybe towards yesterday's highs. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not today because there's a lot of other stocks that people are probably going to gravitate towards rather than, trading this one again. But you never know. So if that happens, I would keep an open bias for the long. At the moment, it's short bias because we broke under 17. We popped up, rejected 1650. So hopefully we get a pop at the open. If we pop at the open, then I'll be watching the reaction. If we put in lower highs, I'll be looking for a breakdown for the short. If we, build a base over 16 to 17, I'll start to keep an open bias for a potential long setup. So keep an open bias on ABIO. Just wait for the setup, see how it sets up, and then we'll go from there. ALT, this is another one on my watch list from last night that I made for members. You can see we filled this gap on the daily chart. There's a small gap here at $8.80. So that's a very, very significant level, was at $8.80. We at first when we tested that area right here, we went parabolic, but we did slam under that key level. So but over the last few days, we ended up reclaiming 880. So we're still in bullish territory on ALT. You can see there's not really a lot of resistance on this daily chart up in this area all the way until, $18. And then it has another gap to fill all the way at 26. So I'm not saying it's going to get there, but I'm just noting the key levels on this chart. There's really not that much resistance up until well, I guess you could say we have some towards, 13 to 15. But yeah, if we can build a base over, 925 to 950 with solid support, we can maybe look for more upside. The one thing that kind of concerns me is I don't know what the volume's going to look like. Yesterday, the volume wasn't that great compared to, these other big volume days on ALT. So that is a concern, is the volume, but that's just something I'll be kind of watching on the side. MRSN, you can see that $20 is a big level on this daily chart, along with like $23.90. So if we can build a base above $20 today, you can potentially look for a breakout to the upside to, retest yesterday's highs and possibly go higher. So MRSN, I'll be watching that one on the side as well. You can see this kind of pattern we're forming. We're holding this lower trend line. But if it rejects and breaks under 1950, then at that point, I'd be short bias. So we'll see how MRSN sets up. And I am going to go over all the main gappers, but for now, I'm just going over my watch list from last night. So just give me a few more minutes, and then we'll go over the main gappers. SNOA, I had this on the watch list because it was gapping up yesterday and after hours. You can see today we're even going higher in pre-market here. So SNOA, this is actually a reverse split, I believe. You can see this purple icon. So this is saying last year, 2019, they had a reverse split. I believe they had another one at a closer time, but I might be wrong on that. But anyways, this should be a smaller float. We're doing about 2 million in volume, and it's like a 1.3 million float on SNOA. So definitely lower float. You can see we had a really nice bull flag here in pre-market for this breakout. So that was actually a good pre-market long setup. Let's look at the daily chart. We have a lot of resistance towards $20 from this spike, and then towards 25. So we'll see how this one goes. If we can kind of hold 14, we can keep an open bias. Maybe this will push back up to pre-market highs. But if it breaks under VWAP with lower highs or like this $13 area, we can also look for a short. So at some point, SNOA is probably going to make for a really good short, but don't try to guess the top. Just, wait for lower highs, basically, you want to wait for longs to trap themselves, wait for longs to chase, and then once they get trapped, that's when, we can step in for the short. Right now, it's 50-50 for me. It could go either way, so I'm not going to short it just yet. Hoping that it can push towards 20, so we'll see, how that sets up. I'm definitely going to wait for the market open to see, where that's trading at. But SNOA, this is going to be one of the main watches today. Like I said, though, the borrow fee for this is really, really expensive. So that's the only downside to shorting it is the borrow fee is very high. Just a few more gappers, so I'm not going to go over everything in detail on my watch list. I'll just go over a few more, and then we'll go over all the main gappers from this morning. So ZS, if you guys like trading higher priced stocks, ZS is for you towards $90. I believe this might be all-time highs. Might have to go back and confirm that. Yeah, I believe 89.54 was previous all-time highs. So we're at all-time highs right now on ZS. There's really no resistance to go off of from above. So just something to keep on watch. It might give some good range, potentially. HX, this one was pretty crazy yesterday. A lot of halts on this one. But, yeah, pretty short biased on it at the moment. unless it reclaims like 135 to 140. If we reclaim this area from yesterday, you can see this was a big pivot level from yesterday around this 135 to 140. So if that becomes support today, then, I'll keep an open bias because I could still see it pushing up towards, 160s if that happens. But as you can see, we are looking pretty weak right now. So if we reject 130 or 140 on a pop and then put in lower highs, you can look for the breakdown to fade this maybe back towards $1 for the short. Do I have an example of one of my short trades? Sure. So yesterday, one trade that I took was short PHAS at 670 in pre-market. And then I covered at $6. So that was one short trade I had yesterday. I also took BHAT short. If you go to our Instagram channel or our Instagram page, I posted this trade. I missed this huge blow off top. I wasn't really watching it, but I saw it down here. I took it short in like 175, risking this VWAP level. And then my best cover was the 140s, so I got about 30 cents out of that one. So that's just a few examples of some of my short trades from yesterday for Parmeet that was asking, and sorry if I mispronounced your name. But yeah, HX, I'll keep that on watch. GNUS, this one had a really nice run and really topped out yesterday and pulled back pretty hard, so I'm little bit more short biased on GNUS. Hopefully we can get a bounce on this one towards 230, and then we'll go from there. PHAS, this one probably will fade lower today, maybe towards $5 if I had to guess. GRNQ, this one's probably going to fade back to $1 within the next day or so. Mark, this one had a pretty big fill yesterday. We rolled over to this 270 area. I think they put out some news in after hours, gapped up and faded right back down. So we're probably going to see some more downside on this one over the next few days. So yeah, that was pretty much everything on my watch list from last night that I made for members. Let's look at the gappers from this morning. So we do have PHIO. Really, really nice run here from, this 325 flag all the way to 620. Very nice long setup there in pre-market. Let's look at this daily chart. You can see we actually have a gap breakout on this daily chart at $3.60, right? So from $3.60, there's really no resistance on this daily chart until, around $6 or $7. And as you can see, we topped out at 620 so far. So we basically filled this gap on the daily chart in pre-market here on FIO. Hopefully we can officially fill this gap towards like 660. That's the gap closing price, and the low of day was around 660 on this gap fill candle on the daily chart right here, as you can see. So a lot of times when these stocks fill these gaps, a lot of times we'll have a reversal. So, we could potentially look for that. It's obviously really extended up here. But definitely don't try to catch the top on this one. This is another one that you have to be very careful on. But, if it gives us some topping action after the market opens, puts in some lower highs, I'll definitely be looking for a potential short setup on PHIO. And once again, if you caught that on the long side this morning in pre-market, congrats to you. That was a killer move there from 3 all the way to 6. But I think, at this point, it is a chase on the long side. It probably needs to pull back first, so I'd be very cautious at this point. But hopefully this one can fill this gap, maybe even push towards 8 or 9. That would be ideal. And then, we can look for that reversal. It's already starting to pull back right now. But I'm going to wait till the market opens and give that one a little bit more time. So that was PHIO. We have ADAP. This is another gapper this morning. You can see right here, we do have a small little gap on this daily chart around 10s. So we filled this little gap, and now you can see that we filled that gap. We pulled back, and now we're using that gap level as support here in pre-market. So this is a very significant level at $10. It's obviously a hold number, $10. A lot of people are watching that area. You can see we're holding that area as VWAP. So if we can kind of build a base over 1080 to 11 after or near the market open, I would say for me, I would need to see it reclaim this 1080 with solid support. If it does that, if 1080 turns into support, we can look for a breakout to the upside to retest these pre-market highs. So 1080 is kind of the key level. You can see we broke under 1080, and now 1080 is kind of turning into resistance. So if we continue to reject here and it starts to weaken up, you can look for a breakdown under $10 for maybe a wash down to 9 or a fade back down or the pullback. What's the float on ADAP? I believe it's a bigger float according to trade ideas, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I think Trade Ideas is saying 600 million is a float, which is a really big float. So I'm not sure if I believe that. I think the float's smaller, but regardless, really nice range on ADAP. Richard saying Discord says 100 million. Yeah, that would make a lot more sense for this to be around 100 million. I think Trade Ideas is wrong. That sounds way more accurate, but even if it is a 100 million float, that's still some very nice range for that type of float, and it's only doing, I guess it has about 4 million, so the volume's actually pretty high. 4 million in pre-market is pretty decent amount of volume. So we'll see, but if we break under VWAP, I'm definitely short biased because I think we're pretty extended and we're probably going to need to pull back. But yeah, 1080 is a key level for me for long setups. PRTY, this one, is gapping up pretty big towards 160. You can see right here, we do have a small little gap at 160 on this daily chart. And we do have some resistance at 160 right here. The next big level I would say is like this 220, which we basically rejected in pre-market. So for long setups on PRTY, for me, I would need to see this consolidate over 178. So if it's somehow recovered over 177, builds a base, then we can look for, a breakout towards highs. But as you can see, we broke under 180. 180 is now resistance, and then we're curling back down. So ultimately, I'm short biased on PRTY. I think we're probably going to pull back to this 130 level. But I could be wrong. If volume comes in after the open and it pushes above 180, then we'll keep an open bias at that point. So PRTY, short bias for now, but that could change later on. JAG-X is kind of gapping up a little bit here. There's a lot of resistance in the 60s, though, so I'm not really too interested in that one. CHCI, I'm going to add that to my watch list. If big volume comes into this one, I'll keep that on watch. So yeah, CHCI, we'll keep this on watch. If big volume comes in, you can see this stock has spiked before. There's a lot of resistance though, but I'll just keep that on watch if I see volume come in. SMLP, kind of the same thing. It needs volume, so I'll be watching it if big volume comes in, but otherwise I'll just avoid it. That's pretty much my whole watch list this morning. We have about 8 minutes until the market opens, so as you guys can see, my main watches are going to be SNOA, which I'll type in the comments really quick. SNOA, PRTY, ABIO, ADAP, SMLP, and PHIO. Those are probably my top watches. I'm also watching a lot of stuff on my other screens like CLSN, ALT, MRSN, GRNQ, and a few others. So yeah, that's the watch list. I will be back after the market opens in like 7 minutes, and I'll just hop on the microphone if I see any setups forming for you guys, and I'll just kind of give you guys some commentary on a few things. So I'll probably stick around for an hour or so, depending on how the action is after the open. And also, I'm sure Star is going to be on and off the mic as well. So Star is going to be here as usual. And you know what? Actually, we still have 6 minutes left. So if you guys want me to pull up any stocks that I haven't went over, then let me know in the comment section. Or if you guys just have any questions in general, let me know in the comments. You can see SNOA actually broke that VWAP and $14 area. So if this continues to put another lower high on this bounce, we might even get a pullback back to $10, which is another pre-market support level. Someone asked about SLV. Let me see that one. Pull that up for you. So SLV, there's a lot of resistance towards 1650 and then 17. We're kind of consolidating in the $16 area, and we finally kind of broke out here on SLV. So for now, I think SLV is more of a bullish chart. I think it can maybe, push up towards 17. But it's not really the type of stock that I prefer to trade personally. So that's my opinion on SLV. It's a little bit extended here in pre-market, so it might need a pullback as well. Someone brought up BIG. We're actually gapping up into this $45 resistance. We also have a gap to fill at 47. The volume, let me check the volume really quick. So yeah, the thing about BIG is the volume is pretty low. It's only at like 200,000. So personally, this is probably something I'd avoid. But if you're like swing trading it, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It could potentially continue to go higher. But as of today, I'm just not sure if the volume's going to be there. So it might be a little bit choppy if that volume doesn't come in. Someone asked, is this what I do every day in the private Discord room? Yes, this is exactly what I do. Every morning we have a watch list. Every night I post the watch list for members. So you get a nighttime watch list. We wake up in the morning, we go over that watch list, and then we make our pre-market watch list. I also do commentary, usually for the first 2 hours of the day, I'm on the microphone for the private members, but it just depends on the day. If it's a slower day, I might be a little bit less active, but for the most part, I'm on the mic all morning and then all afternoon when things are good. So that's pretty much what we do there. They have access to the watch list, my screen shares, and video lessons. And also, the private room just has a lot of really good traders because a lot of them have been trading with me for over a year now, or close to a year since we started. So we have a lot of really good traders in there that, are trading very similar to how I do. And they're all completely self-sufficient just from learning from me and from learning from just screen time and experience. So that's another really cool thing about the room is you get to trade with a lot of people that are giving really good alerts and things like that. So I think it's really helpful, especially if you're a newer trader. You're going to see how a lot of really good traders make profits pretty consistently. So that's always our goal, is just to make consistent profits and teach, good risk to reward and good strategies. So someone asked about CLSN. So CLSN had a really nice breakout on the daily chart from 150 all the way to 350. It's still in long territory. CLSN is still in long territory. You can see we're above 320. If you look at like a 5-minute chart, you can see that we topped out at 320 like 5-6 times. So if that 320 turns into support on CLSN, we could really see a breakout, but the volume needs to really come in. So volume is definitely a concern. GRNQ, I'm short biased on it, but the volume is just dead on that. So I don't know. I would probably wait for a bounce to short it, if anything. I just don't like shorting stuff that has really low volume because you can get stuck and then they can just pop back up pretty easily. So a lot of times I tend to avoid these when the volume dries up. But kind of like yesterday, see how it just consolidated and then had that big pop? I would wait for something like this on GRNQ before looking for a short. It's just extended to the downside a little bit. You can see PRTY is breaking down. That's really no surprise there. PHIO is pushing back up towards 550. Keep an eye on that one. So like I said on SNOA, $14 is a key level. So we're pushing up. If we reject 14 and put in lower highs, then we could potentially see a pullback to $10. But if we reclaim 14 and build support there, we can look for a breakout on SNOA. ADAP broke under 10, looking pretty weak here. Um, Someone asked if they were thinking about joining PDT or warrior trading. What makes a better choice? I would obviously say PDT, but I mean, I guess if you're into scalping, that's what warrior trader does a lot, is mostly scalping. So I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. I'm not really much of a scalper. I like to hold for longer time frames or longer periods of time. So SNOA popping over 14. PHIO is still pretty strong as well, pushing towards pre-market highs, towards 6. And SMLP is actually halted. For those that were tuned in pre-market, if you're reading my MRSN commentary on that $20 hold, you can see we had a very nice breakout on MRSN because we opened above that $20 level. That was a pretty good setup there. Nice push on SNOA as well. And ADAP, super weak. ADAP, this could potentially go back to $8 or $7 within the next 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes. This thing could really unwind, so keep an eye on ADAP. The better entry was obviously the break of VWAP that I mentioned. So it's always risky to chase it down here. But I do think ADAP is probably going to flush down towards 8 or 7 at some point today. Big rejection on SNOA. This is why you guys have to wait for solid support, right? So $14 was the key level for me. So what I want to see is I want to see some, support. So far, all we saw was just a spike and a flush back down, and now SNOA is actually halted to the downside. So when you guys are looking for long setups, always make sure that you wait for that confirmed support. Yeah, you're going to miss a lot of trades, but it's going to save you from getting dumped on in situations like this on SNOA. So if anyone took that PRTY short in pre-market, kind of when I was mentioning it as it was breaking down, there's that 140 target. My next target would be the 120s. If it pulled back towards 120s, cover some more there. SMLP is open from that halt. Let's see if we can push up towards 180 potentially, and then I'll kind of keep that one on watch. So yeah, guys, obviously that was a super nasty halt to the downside on Snowa. So hopefully it doesn't gap down after this halt, but it might. Um, what I would hope for is after this halt is a push to 14. If you're looking for a short setup, a push towards 14, and then a lower high, and then you can short the breakdown, risking off of like that $14 area. So we'll see how that sets up. CHCI, I mentioned this one in pre-market. It's popping up now. So if we can kind of build a base above 3, we can look for a breakout on CHCI. Keep a very close eye on that one here. CHCI. Hopefully we get that push towards pre-market highs here. And also, guys, by the way, I am a lot more detailed in my explanations in the private room. Just because we are in public, I can't go into as much detail, but you guys will still, get the point. FIO also kind of topped out towards 650. So if we start to put in lower highs here, we can look for a breakdown back to $4 on PHIO potentially. Unless it like reclaims like this 570 area. But yeah, I understand, a lot of people can't short SNOA, a lot of people can't short ADAP. A lot of these are really expensive and hard to borrow, so hopefully we can get some more long setups. CHCI rejected 340 so far. Give this one more time. It still could set up if it wants to. As long as we hold above 3 for a while, maybe over like the next 10, 15 minutes. If we continue to hold over 3 and build a base here, then we can look for a breakout. But we really need some volume to come in, which I'm not sure is going to happen. But yeah, as long as we're over 3, I'm watching that one. So yeah, I'll let you guys know if we get any long setups for those that can only trade on the long side. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. PHIO, this is probably going to break the support and flush. Nice bounce off $3 on CHCI. Someone said TCON long idea. I wouldn't go long on that one. It's downtrending at the moment. A lot of resistance at 250 as well. SNOA is halted to the upside now. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's why I really don't like trading stocks that halt. If you use DAS Pro, if you guys use DAS Pro with your broker, they actually show the halt prices on the level 2, which is really nice. It's a really cool feature to know exactly when a stock is going to halt. But yeah, I try to avoid stocks that halt all the time because they can just be really dangerous. And there's that breakout on CHCI. We ended up holding $3. I wanted a little bit more consolidation above $3 just to confirm that as a nice support level. But after 3 minutes, it just broke out to new highs on CHCI. So not everything is gonna set up perfectly the way you want it, but you guys can clearly see the setup that formed. We have this upper trend line. We held $3 and pushed up to make new highs. So nice little push there. Hopefully PHIO can bounce first, give us a bounce, and then a failed bounce, lower highs, and breakdown. I would prefer that, but it looks like it's probably just going to break under 5 here and start to pull back. It's pretty extended too. JAGX is still holding up as well. So 56 cents is kind of a big level from pre-market. We're holding above that so far. Nice move on FMCI as well. You can put that on watch. FMCI. So there's that bounce on PHIO. It managed to hold 5. So we'll see how it reacts from here. If it pops up and rejects here and then just puts in lower highs, then we can still look for the break of 5 a little bit later on. But if it builds a base over 570, then we're back in long territory, and this could easily push back up towards high of day. So 570 is a key level for me on PHIO. If we reject that, put in lower highs, I'm looking for the short. If we hold that as support, I'm looking for the long. But yeah, when it comes to small caps, I'd say you definitely want to take advantage of the first hour of the day, first hour and a half. Lately, that's where all the biggest moves are. Well, actually, I don't want to say that because we've actually had a lot of afternoon action lately. But I would say my favorite time to trade is just the morning, the first hour or so. And then, every once in a while, I'll usually come back and see if there's anything good enough to trade for the afternoon. But for me to trade in the afternoon after already making, decent profits on the day, it has to be a really good setup, or else I'll just use a lot smaller size in the afternoon just to protect your profits from the morning. But yeah, a lot of times after the first hour or 2 hours, a lot of these stocks tend to trade sideways and the volume kind of dries up a little bit. So you just got to be a little bit more careful towards, after the first hour and a half or 2 hours. when things start to slow down. Let's see what SNOA does here. So we're still holding over 14 on SNOA. I'm going to start to scan through a few more other things just to see if I can find anything else that you guys might not have seen already. Looks like AGE, age is popping up on the scans a little bit. That might be something to watch. Let's put that right here. Actually, the volume is pretty low on that one. Big rejection on CHCI. GMBL, this is another stock that I traded a while back when it spiked, I think around this time. This one's testing this pre-market resistance right now at 640. So if it breaks above that, it might try to push up a little bit on GMBL. It's already kind of extended though, so. ADAP, still looking pretty weak here. So keep an eye on ADAP. If it breaks this lower trend line, we might see another pullback here. On ADAP, so GMBL, like I was saying, that 640 was a very big level of resistance on the daily chart. We just broke that, and already a nice 40-cent move to the upside on GMBL. That was a daily chart breakout setup, as you can see on the daily right there. So nice push to 7. ADAP, like I just mentioned, that lower trend line just broke, and we're seeing a little bit more downside. Let's see if we can get another pullback to $8. And CHCI, pretty weak after that breakout. It's probably going to break under 3 and fade back down, but we'll see. If it pops over 320 and volume comes back in, we can keep an open bias on CHCI. PHIO, so far, it's still having trouble with that 570 level. But we're still holding up at the same time. So let's watch PHIO, and let's see if we can reclaim that 570, and then we can look for a potential long setup. So watch 570, 565, 570 area really closely, and just pay attention to how it reacts to that level on the level 2 and time and sales. If it has a very bearish and heavy reaction, and then puts in lower highs, then we can look for that short. And right now it does look a little bit heavy on PHIO. But we'll see if it can retest that level. Really nice breakout there on SNOA. At this rate, with how crazy this thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if it tried to pull, a similar move to ABIO from yesterday, which went all the way to $22. It really wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're only $4 away. But obviously, it's very, very risky to buy up here. Very risky. The buy was really towards $14. That was a key level that I mentioned a few times. PHIO, get ready for this breakdown potentially here. We're still, rejecting those 560s, 570s. We're getting some lower highs. And we should get a wash here towards maybe 450 if this breaks this 5 support. So give that a few minutes and watch it pretty closely. ADAP, there's that pullback to $8. So if anyone took that, you can definitely take profits at 8. Save a little bit in case it goes down to 7 or 6. But nice fade on that one so far. Man, I don't know what it is, but today borrows are just extremely expensive. Even on PHIO, the price went up a lot. It's like 0.41 for shares to short. So that translates to $400 for 1,000 shares, which is ridiculous. But I think it was cheaper earlier today. SNOA's still going. Like I said, we're probably going to see $20, but the entry was obviously towards 14. All right, and let's see if PHIO is going to break down here or if they're going to try to hold this level. Really nice job, guys. I saw a lot of you took snow along. Just keep in mind, guys, you got to use smaller size on these stocks because you never know. It could go, $1, $2, $3 against you in the blink of an eye. So, just in the future, I'm sure you guys are probably sizing correctly for your account, but yeah, just be really careful with these stocks that have crazy range. You always got to think about your risk before you think about your reward. That's always how it should be. DGLY is on the scans. Pretty low volume though. Let me see. I don't think there's that much of a delay on this screen share. So I think there's like a 5 to 10 second delay on this screen share that you guys are watching. So it's not on the public one. On the scanner, there's a little delay, like 1 minute, just for the public one. But for this stream that you guys are watching right now, this only has like a 5-second delay, I think. But in the private room, we actually have the Discord voice channel, which is real time. So that's what people use. They use the voice channel, and then they just use this just to see my screen. What scanners do I use? I use the same scanner that's on our YouTube channel, but the one that I use, obviously, it doesn't have that 1 minute delay. So I use Trade Ideas, mostly for the pre-market gappers and the high of day momentum scanner and the halt scanner. That's pretty much what I use it for. It's just those three things. And then I use Thinkorswim for charting. So on my Thinkorswim, I have scans on there for like top percentage gainers. And OTC stocks, I have scans for that and a bunch of different things. But really, all you really need to trade how I trade for like momentum small caps, you really just need the top percentage gainer. You just need top gainers and gap up scans and the halt scan and the high of day momentum scanner. If you have like those 3 or 4 things, then you're good to go. There's that pullback. Once $3 broke on CHCI, you can see we're pulling back there. Like I mentioned earlier. All right, guys, we're almost at that big $20 on SNOA. But just to give you guys an example on SNOA, in pre-market, for those that were tuned in, I clearly said you want to see $14 turn into support before you go long, right? So you can see we halted down, then we halted back up over 14, and then we briefly held 14 as support. So it didn't trade above 14 as long as I wanted it to. I wanted, a few more minutes and then that curl up for the breakout, but it just ended up, breaking out. and it basically hasn't looked back since then. But my point is, if you got in towards 14, then you'd probably want to use this $13 as your risk level. So really, your stop on SNOA should be like $1. You want to have a wider risk. And there's that breakdown on PHIO that I talked about earlier. I was just waiting for that break of that $5 support, and we finally got that washed to the downside. So if anyone got that short, I would be looking to take some profits here in the 480s, 470s potentially, and then save some in case it goes to $4. I would cover some more at $4 if it got there. But if you cover here at 460, 470 right now, you can set your stop to break even. So I'm just trying to kind of show you guys the setups before they happen, and then you guys can see for yourselves how they play out after, just to kind of give you guys an idea of, what I look for and things like that. So hopefully you guys, some of the newer traders in here, hopefully you guys are learning a bit today. But we got a few nice setups. There's just really high borrow fees on a lot of these stocks today. Actually, it looks like ADAP went down to, the price went down. SNOA is still really expensive. But yeah, what you guys have to understand is on the public scanner that you guys listen to with Star, you guys have to understand that we're doing that for free. So, Star's not going to be as detailed. Same with me. I'm not going to go. I mean, I was pretty detailed today, but I'm a lot more detailed in the private chat. So you just got to understand that we can't just give out, too much information on the free scanner. So Star does a really good job at just kind of guiding you guys and helping you guys out. But if you want to really go into more detail, I would definitely recommend the private room. We don't have any promos for joining. It's already really cheap. It comes with scanners and everything, so you guys don't have to use a public scanner. You'll have your own set up, and it's definitely worth it. But anyways, guys, we got pretty close to $20 on SNOA, but we didn't quite get there. And as you can see, nasty pullback. So it's always very important to scale out of your profits. Take profits in pieces, right? You don't have to buy in one, and you don't have to sell in one exit, right? You can have multiple entries. You can have multiple exits. For me, I always use multiple exits because it helps me hold the trade for longer. Because what I can do is I can take some profit, and then once I take some profit, I can move my stop to break even. So once that happens, I know that I'm still going to come out with a profit no matter what, as long as I follow my stop at break even. So that's usually how I like to manage my risk. Man, and GMBL is still going. So we got that daily chart breakout at 650. We got that pullback to 650. It held that level, and then we got another breakout. Really nice move. AGE, I mentioned that one earlier on the scans. Kind of took it off watch, but that one had a nice pop from 110 all the way to 150. ADAP ended up bottoming at $8, which was one of my targets. I thought it might go to like 7 or 6 though, and it still might. There's obviously a lot of time in the day left, but for now it has bottomed out. So we'll see what happens. It might just reject VWAP, put in lower highs, and break down again. But if we reclaim VWAP, maybe it pushes towards 10. So I would just be careful on ADAP at this point in time. But if I had to guess, probably going to just fade lower by the end of the day. PHIO as well. I think this still has room to $4, maybe lower by the end of the day, definitely. Unless it reclaims VWAP and builds a base. So you guys just got to understand the key levels. And it just takes time. After you get so much screen time, these key levels just become like second nature. You don't even really think about it. It just becomes really obvious where the key levels are, in my opinion. So you can remember earlier I said 570 was a key level, 565 to 570 for long setups. We rejected that level, put in a lower high. Therefore, you didn't get that long setup. We got the exact opposite, which was the short setup. Because that key level the key support level turned into resistance, plus lower highs, plus we're just extended. So all those things combined lead me to taking a trade. So yeah, it's never just one thing that makes me enter a trade. It's always like 3 to 4 different things combined that, tells me when to get into trade. So it's just a lot of variables, a lot of things to consider. But over time, once you just understand how these stocks move, it just becomes so much easier over time. So a few questions that you guys asked. Do we see the charts live in Discord or here? So in Discord, in the private Discord room, I give you guys basically this exact setup. You can just see my charts, but I don't stream it for the public. It's only for members. So it's basically the same. You'll see, my 6 charts, and then I'll be on the Discord voice channel, which is real time. So you're not going to have that 3-second delay on my voice on YouTube. My voice is going to be in real time, but the charts that you're seeing, they are going to be, like 3 seconds delayed. But you really just need my voice, and then you can just use my charts to kind of see what I'm looking at. But, at the end of the day, we all have our own charting systems. So you really just need my voice. Do I trade live? Yeah, I do. I do let them know like when I'm entering a trade, when I'm exiting. If it's a good setup, I alert it beforehand. I alert it as I'm entering, and I alert my exits. And you guys will know my full plan on the trade. But if I'm just like scalping something, I'm not going to alert that to everyone, So it depends on the setup. But something like PHIO, where I'm telling you guys what to look for, and I'm telling you, if it breaks 5, get ready for the breakdown. Those are really the type of trades that I'm like, hey, I'm shorting right here at $5, whatever it may be, and I'm going to cover here. So you guys will have time before I enter the trade. You'll know what I'm looking for. So, for those that were paying attention today, PHIO was a very good example of that exactly. Me telling you guys what I'm looking for, and then as you can see, it did exactly what I thought it would. So it's really going to allow you guys to plan for the trade, plan your risk, know where to take profits, and so it's really going to speed up the learning curve for a lot of you. I've had people in the room that, after like a month, they're already calling out, the same trades as me. And Robert, if you go to the link in the description, you can see our website is at the very bottom, precisiondaytrading.com. If you guys want to sign up, go to the website and click on Join Us. Fill out the information. You'll get an email. Once you get that email, you can go ahead and sign in and go to subscription. And then from there, you can pay through PayPal. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, you can go ahead and sign up. We also have a video on YouTube. It's in the description, the link. And it'll give you guys a tutorial of everything that's included with the private chat room. So if you guys want to sneak peek into the chat room, click on that video. It's about 15 minutes long, and I show you everything that's included. What kind of stuff is in the education vault? Well, I do this every day. So in the education vault, you're going to have every single one of my live streams. So for example, like today, you can go back and listen to my commentary and study. So I have all of those from every day. So that's hours of, education, especially the morning live streams. And then on top of that, I have like video lessons on level 2 in time and sales, video lessons on my favorite trading patterns. So basically everything you need is there. But the best thing about it is obviously going to be the live trading. That's probably what's going to teach you the most. But yeah, guys, AGE is actually halted to the upside. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but nice move there. I think all the stocks on my screen are pretty much all the main ones on. Wow, BIG really did drop very hard there. That was a great short opportunity on BIG. I completely missed that one, but I like to stay with the lower price stuff. Usually, I like to trade. My stats show me that my best trades are in the $2 to $10. I would say like $3 is probably my sweet spot around there, $2 to $3. Those are what I like to trade, but I trade everything. So I think I pretty much went over all the main stocks from this morning. If there's any small cap stocks or stocks that you think I should be watching or I missed, let me know in the comments and I'll take a look at it. Right now, I'm not really seeing anything besides what we've already been talking about in the small cap sector anyways. For the overall market, you can see SPY is still holding over $300 for the overall market. I don't really trade large caps too much, but I like to watch SPY and just pay attention to it. I do trade options every once in a while. I opened Thinkorswim made us fund our accounts, or else they were gonna take away our charting. So what I did was I funded like 150 into Thinkorswim. Just because they made it a requirement to fund the account, or else they were gonna cancel me out. Before I was just using this free charts, but I just decided to put 150 in it, and I grew it to like 700-800 trading options, just trading SPY options. So, you know, I can grow an options account, but that's really not where my focus is. I mostly trade small caps. But yeah, maybe if 300 starts to break down, we might see a pullback to 295, 290 over the next few days. But I don't know. It could. I'm kind of 50-50 at this point on SPY. This could easily hold above 300 and push even higher. So definitely keeping an open bias on the overall market, but if we do get that big red day, then I'll be hunting a lot of stuff, looking for shorts like Tesla, Netflix, and a few others. CGC mid cap, yeah, actually, I was actually watching that this morning. CGC, huge fail today in pre-market. Someone asked about DGLY. I would probably just avoid this one. Just the volume isn't that great. Um, but if it does pick up more volume and it can build a base over $1, maybe it'll push up towards 120 or 130 over the next few days. So you could keep it on watch, but for me, I would probably just avoid DGLY at the moment. All right, guys. So Snoa, obviously topped out pretty big there towards $20. Um, we'll see how this level reacts. So from pre-market, you can see that this 1550 was kind of a big level in pre-market because we topped out at that level. And you can see we are using that same level as support now, which was the same breakout level from after the market open. So 1550 is a key level right now. If we put in lower highs, like it looks like we might on Snoa, and we break that 1550 or 1580 level, basically where VWAP is, we might get a flush down to $14. So just don't be surprised on Snoa if we get a pullback to 14. That could very easily happen. But at the same time, if we hold VWAP and build a base over 17, we could try to push back towards high a day again. So just wait, 5-10 minutes, see how it sets up here. FMCI making new highs as well. CHCI, I mentioned that one was probably going to break 3 and pull back. We are testing that 260 pre-market support on CHCI. So that was basically my price target on CHCI. Once $3 broke, I was looking for 260s. Now, if 260s breaks or stays heavy, this could go all the way back down to $2 by the end of the day or tomorrow. It could try to fill that gap from yesterday's closing price on CHCI. So we might get some more downside on that one, but it's obviously not something I would short down here. The entry was towards 3 or 320 on the breakdown. Age also got really extended towards 2 and is pulling back really hard now. So that one's probably done as well. And for PHIO, we'll see if we can get another leg down. I still think this thing is going to go down to 350, maybe at least 350 by the end of the day, in my opinion, on PHIO. I think it still has a lot of room to the downside, but it might try to bounce towards VWAP if it holds this area. But yeah, overall, really still short biased on PHIO. If anyone's shorting that, I would definitely still hold at least like half of my position in case it goes lower. Thoughts on Mark, M-A-R-K? Take a look. At the moment, Mark, it made a really big move to the downside from yesterday all the way to 240. 240 was a big level, so I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see it push up towards 280 or 3 on Mark, maybe a bounce towards 280 or 3. It looks like it probably wants to bounce, so that's what I'm thinking on Mark, but there's also a lot of overhead resistance towards $3 now, so kind of an uphill battle at the same time. Someone said thoughts on ABIO. ABIO. I'm still short biased on that one. I mean, it might bounce. Maybe it bounces towards VWAP, but overall, I think this is probably going to go back to $10 on ABIO by maybe by the end of the day or maybe over the next couple days. I think it's going to go. I think it's probably just going to fade back down. There's a lot of overhead resistance now, and the volume is a lot lower than it was yesterday. So that's my opinion on ABIO. ALT, I went over this one in pre-market. We're still in long bias territory. As long as we hold over, like $9, $8.80 to $9, we're still technically in long territory, but there is kind of a lot of overhead resistance now on ALT, so it is an uphill battle, and you can see the volume is a lot lower now than on this day, right? So the volume's kind of dying off, so as long as the volume stays low, I would just avoid it because it's probably just going to be really choppy back and forth type of action. But if that volume picks up, then and we're holding over these key levels, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go higher. But yeah, at the moment, I just don't really have any setups on ALT, and the volume's a bit low, so I'd be careful. If I had to guess, guys, probably on 80AP, we're probably just going to fade back down to $8 here if we keep rejecting VWAP. But we'll see. Maybe it can push up above VWAP and we can keep it on watch. But I'm still a little short biased on 80AP for now. So someone in the private room mentioned ADMA. We can kind of keep that on watch. It's forming a flag or a wedge here. So you can see the upper trend line on ADMA, and you can see the lower trend line. So for me, if we can build a base over like 322 area, if we pop over this upper trend line, build a base, we could potentially see a push up towards high of day. But we could also, if this lower trend line breaks, we could also see a flush back down. So keep an eye on this one and just see how it reacts to this wedge breakout to the upper downside. SNOA for now, we are holding that 1560 support that I mentioned at VWAP and pushing up. So we might even see this push up back towards highs again if we can kind of consolidate near the 17 area. But with this type of stock, we're probably not going to get, that consolidation. It's probably just going to try to spike if it wants to. But, yeah, for now, we're still in long territory on SNOA. See, someone in the room mentioned PRTY. Nice fade, 160s to 130s on PRTY. It's kind of bouncing up towards VWAP right now. I'm still pretty short biased on PRTY, but if it makes a really big recovery over 160 to 170 and builds a base above those levels, I would keep an open bias. But right now, I don't really have a setup on it at the moment. By the way, really nice fade there on CHCI, under 260s. Like I said, this probably has room to $2, $2.20 or $2 by the end of the day, potentially. So really nice short if anyone's still in that. Nice spike on DVAX. This was actually on my watch list from last night. Um, Sorry, someone asked if I think that ADAP is a good short opportunity here. Um, I would say the best entry was $10 after the market opened. That was a really good lower trend line break of that support. Or, this 870 breakdown. But shorting it now is a bit riskier on ADAP because it kind of already made its downtrending move. And now we're kind of just trading sideways. So, yeah, it might break down and go to 7 later. But I don't like the setup as much now as I did, this morning. It was a much better setup earlier. So, yeah, I wouldn't short it here myself. DVAX, really nice spike towards $6. And we're halted on DVAX. So far, ADMA couldn't hold that 320 or reclaim that 320 as support. So we might see this start to break down. Someone asked, what is the borrow fee on ADAP? Well, if you're using Trade Zero, it's like 0.02. So basically, you can get 1,000 shares for like $20 on ADAP, which is not bad. The price was super high earlier today, but it actually went down. Snowa, the short fee on that is still ridiculous, and you don't even want to short that one anyways. Up until now, anyways, it might set up for a short later on, but I won't be shorting Snowa. It's like $400 just for 1,000 shares, which is way too much risk. It looks like PHIO is starting to weaken up again. Maybe we'll see that pull back to $4 now in the next little bit, hopefully. PHIO. And ADAP, we actually ended up popping above VWAP. So let's see if we can get a push towards $10 on that one, maybe. But yeah, like I said earlier, the short was this morning. That's why I didn't short it after that. It gave a really nice setup, but once it starts to reclaim VWAP and you got some of your profit targets, then that's when you want to kind of be less aggressive, obviously, on the short side. So if I were shorting that and covering into that $8 wash, I would have stopped out the rest of my short probably near VWAP or whatever my entry would have been. So if anyone took that short, you probably should have stopped out the last bit of whatever you had left. You always want to trail your stop down so you don't give back, profits. DVAX is open from its halt. Do I find a lot of stocks follow the SPY's rise and fall? Um, it depends what stocks you're watching. If it's like large cap stocks like Netflix, Tesla, like certain stocks like AMD, for example, those stocks follow SPY pretty closely. But the stocks that I trade, like these small cap stocks like SNOA, ADAP, PHIO, they don't follow SPY at all. So the only time you really need to watch SPY is if you're trading large cap stocks. But I mean, it can still have an effect. Like, let's say that the market is crashing or something crazy is happening with the overall market. Sometimes that'll have an effect on what I trade because a lot of people will be trading futures and things like that. And then sometimes small caps will kind of die off. So that's kind of the reason why I pay attention to SPY is just to keep up with the overall market. But yeah, it doesn't affect my trades. There's that pullback on PHIO basically to 4. We're probably going to see 350 later today. That was a great short setup, guys, on PHIO. Great short setup on that one. Very clear entry, very clear risk. So that was a really good one. And there's that pullback to 4. See, so things are winding down a little bit. We still have like an hour until lunch, so I'm probably going to stick around for a bit. I just wanted to kind of give you guys some commentary and help out a little bit. Maybe in the future, I'll definitely do this more often for you guys if you guys enjoy it. For the public chat, every once in a while I'll pop in there and kind of do what we did today. But yeah, I'll probably stick around for a little bit, and then I don't know. I might leave it on. I might end it. I'm not really sure yet. We'll have to see if anything pops up later on. But yeah, guys, no problem. I appreciate you guys being here. Also, guys, and like I said, in the private room, I do show people, my entries and exits and what I'm trading. I'm obviously not going to go into as much detail on the public stream, but I just want to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking for and what's likely going to happen. And then if you guys want to trade off of my ideas, you can. If not, then you don't have to take it. But in the private room, that's where I'm going to give you guys my entries and exits and real-time alerts and things like that. As of today, I scalped a few things, but I really didn't take any big trades. And the reason for that is because I'm using Trade Zero. And a lot of the stocks that I wanted to short, the borrow fee was just ridiculous. Like PHIO, I'm not going to spend $300 for 1,000 shares. You're just not going to see me do that. It's not worth the risk. So, I just took a few scalps on a few different things, but I didn't take any of the trades that I really wanted to trade today. So today was honestly, there's a lot of crazy stuff moving, but I trade what I'm comfortable with. So for me, I like to take big size when I can on the short side. So something like PHIO, that's my bread and butter setup. Something like that, I might take 2,000 shares on. If I can get like 20-cent risk, I might risk $400 on a good trade to potentially make, 800 to over 1,000. So that's kind of what I'm working with. Typically, though, I'll just take 1,000 shares, try to make $300 or $400 on a trade. It just depends on the setup. If it's a really good setup like PHIO, I'll definitely take more size. 2,000 shares around there. That's usually my sweet spot. But yeah, if you guys are interested in joining, if you want to know my exact entries and exits on these trades, definitely check it out. The try it for 2 weeks $8.99 link, that's not for the chat room. Just to make that clear, that's just for trade ideas. And I'm not sure if they're still doing that 2-week trial, so that might be why it's not working. That's for trade ideas. But if you're looking for the chat room, then just go to precisiondaytrading.com and you can sign up there if you guys want to. But anyways, guys, there's that pullback under 4 on PHIO. Probably going to see a breakdown to 350 or 3 by the end of the day. SNOA, as you can see, rejected and broke under VWAP. It's halted to the downside. It already made its move to almost $20, so this really isn't surprising. Yeah, so in the private room, Star does post his entries and exits as well. And Star is also, moderating. He's in the public room, though, as well, so you guys can still, use Star's free commentary. But he is more detailed in the private chat. And on top of that, he does post his recaps of his trades every once in a while, so you get that as well. So basically just me and Star are the moderators, but we do have a lot of people in the chat room that are killing it and giving some really good alerts as well. But yeah, guys, just to give you an idea of kind of some of the things that's going on in the private room right now. Like obviously, I already explained, what we do every day. Basically, we do the same thing that we did today, except for the only difference is I might be a little bit more detailed in a few things, and Obviously, alerting the entries and exits is another thing. We're also kind of working on a small account. A lot of the members obviously don't have $25,000 to put in an account to get over PDT. So if you're in the US dealing with PDT, I'm also showing members how to grow a small account. I started this small account with $700 a few weeks ago, and so far we're at we got to almost 2,000 in a few weeks. So I'm showing members that as well. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I go into more detail about that in the private room. But yeah, the goal with that is just to show people that you don't need a lot of money to make consistent profits. If you have $1,000, it is possible to make 100 to 200 a day and do it very consistently. You just have to have the right tools, the right broker. If you're trying to grow a $1,000 account or lower, it's really hard to grow a small account like that unless you have buying power. So that's another topic. Obviously, I don't recommend using buying power, but when you're growing a small account and you're risking such small amounts, that buying power is okay to use, especially if you're in multiple trades and you're only risking a small amount on each of those trades. So yeah, you guys will also see me grow this small account over time if you join the room as well. But yeah, guys, things are really kind of slowing down a little bit now that the morning's over. Snowa, that's probably the death candle there on that halt down. We're probably going to see some panic in that one maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it reacts after the halt opens, but I'm guessing that was probably the kill candle, and we're probably going to see some more downside on Snowa. So just be ready for that. ADAP actually ended up reclaiming $10. So if we can build a base above $10, keep an open bias on ADAP. Maybe it tries to push up towards 11 and 12 later on today. If we trap enough shorts, who knows? Maybe it goes back to high of day towards 12. That is a possibility. It wouldn't surprise me for that to happen. But at the same time, it could easily reject up here and then fade right back down to VWAP. So I would be really cautious. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm watching at the moment is just those few stocks that we've been talking about. I'm going to do a quick scan, see if anything's popping up. If I don't see anything else to talk about, I'm probably going to end the YouTube screen share and call it a morning for now. Let's see. So yeah, if you guys have any last questions, now's the time in the comment section. I have some time to answer questions, and then I'm probably going to head out for the day. I'm obviously going to be, at my desk trading probably in the afternoon, but going to take a little break here. But yeah, a lot of people had some really good mornings in the chat room today, it looks like. So congrats to you guys, especially if you caught Snowa long at 14 this morning, up or near 14. That was a pretty good play along with ADAP short and PHIO short. And what was the other one? PRTY. That was a good one as well. So I do the live screen share every day for the members in the private room. So they get this every single day. I'm not going to do it every day for the public room, but I will do this every once in a while for you guys. Maybe we'll try to do this once a week or once every other week. We'll try to do what we did today. Just give me some feedback in the public Discord room, what you guys want to see. Maybe I'll make some video lessons for the public room as well. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna give it like 10 more minutes for you guys to ask anything if you want, and then I'm gonna end this screen share. Do we trade stocks around $2 in the private room? Yes, we do. I trade a lot of stocks in the dollar, $2 range. Every once in a while, I trade a stock, under $1 if it's a really good one. But yeah, it's mostly ranging from like $1 to $5 for me. ALT, guys, is still holding up pretty well. ALT, even though the volume's a little bit low. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, ALT, we're still in long territory, and we actually ended up breaking out above this 920 area. So that one will definitely be interesting over the next few days. See where that ends up. Snowa testing that major $14 support. If that breaks, we're probably going to see $10 later on. But if we bounce off 14, build a base again above 16, we can keep an open bias. But I'm guessing we're probably going to see a lower high of some sort here under $16 and then a breakdown towards 12 or 10 maybe later today. So we'll see how that sets up. Any setups to hold over the weekend? So I do not swing trade very often. Every once in a while, I might hold a stock overnight, but for the most part, I just day trade them, and then I don't really hold positions overnight. But we do have some people in the room that like to swing trade, and we do have a swing trading channel. So that's something I'm working on because I do see a lot of like dollar stocks that are bouncing off lows that make good swing trades, but I don't usually take them. So that is something I'm working on is potentially swing trading a little bit more later on, but it's not really my main focus right now. So is the private room the monthly membership? Yeah. So the monthly membership is it is a monthly membership if you join. So you guys can cancel at any time. There's no contract or anything like that. It's just a monthly fee. If you cancel, then you'll simply just be able to stay in the room until your subscription expires. But yeah, it's just a monthly type of thing. Dump Snowa at 1750 on your recommendation. Nice. Yeah, that was good because that drop was pretty ugly there. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the screen share for now for today. If you guys have any questions for me, the public Discord room. If you're not already in it, then you can join the public Discord. It's in the link. There's a link in the description. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in that public Discord or just send me a message on Discord. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day.